I'm here with Joe McCullough, who has written about 1 million sets of Wargames rules by now, and you've not been out of the house at a miniature gaming show for a while. How are you finding it?
It's great, actually. I didn't know what to expect out of Salute this year. I've been to more than a dozen, and a little bit of fear that nobody's going to show up, but actually it's a really good turnout. I'm really impressed, and it's good to get back in that vibe. Remember why you love the hobby in a lot of ways,
And you've been there in front of, with all your babies in front of you, your Wargame babies on the Osprey stand. Latest one being Silver Bayonet.
Yep.
How's the reaction to that one been so far?
Oh, it's been terrific. I mean, if you can't sell it here, you're not going to sell it anywhere. But I think just people just love it conceptually, because it's just that excuse that I think so many have always wanted. I want some Napoleonics, but I don't want to super commit. And this is kind of like, all right, I can get a few. I've already got some fantasy figures I can use with it. It's just a good excuse.
Sure.
So, I think people.
So I mean, the rules for the game are, you obviously have your Joe traits throughout games, but they feel quite different in Silver Bayonet. You've really gotten quite tight with the combat, and the dice rolls and things feel really nice in there. Is that something that was engineered or just happened as it was being designed?
I definitely wanted to kind of take what is my gaming philosophy and then sort of half-step it a little more towards what is traditional historical. So there's some differences from, say, Frostgrave, where it becomes a little more so like the 2D10, which everybody comments on. It's not because I don't love D20s anymore, I do, but I thought actually a little less of the randomness makes sense here. And also it gave me some other ways to play with system, having that two dice. There's new things I can do with the two dice. And also, in the same way, in, say, Frostgrave or something, you're building this wizard and you got this big character. Here you're really working on a unit. And so, individually the figures don't change or grow as much, but they do slowly, and slowly the whole unit does. And so that part of the game is both simpler in the fact that the changes to a character aren't as great, but more complex in that you're talking about the whole unit. So this balance issue there of you can't have everybody just gaining everything.
No.
So if you want to grow the whole unit, you need to pare down a little bit what that growth means.
Sure.
So.
And I'm assuming there's plans for expansions and extra things ahead. Are you at a point to talk about those yet, or is it
not really? Still kind of talking to Osprey, talking to a couple of different people, and just trying to figure out what I want to do and what they want done. And there's just so many ways you could go. You know, you can go deeper into Europe. You can go to North America or Egypt or wherever, and there's just so many possibilities. And they're all fun. What do we do?
You can't write everything all at once.
Yeah. And
so are there other things coming that you can tell us about, maybe for other systems that you've got?
So I mean, I've been doing a lot of work with Stargrave over the last year, and the first supplement's just come out for that, and I've literally just sent off the manuscript for the third, which is I have no idea when that actually comes out.
Right.
Probably late next year. But that's called Hope Eternal, and that's a fully solo or cooperative campaign. So it's kind of the excuse to play Stargrave in a very Star Wars-like manner, where you are more heroes fighting the evil pirates. Whereas the base game's more your rogues just kind of trying to survive. So for people who want to play it in that style, it's that. So that's the big thing I've been working on. There's also another Frostgrave supplement coming out called Fireheart, which is all about constructs and building constructs and new rules for building constructs.
Right.
And also what I call interactive terrain, which is just terrain features you can put on the table that do things.
Is this kind of an extension on all the demon realms and stuff that you did in your previous expansion?
Kind of. It's more like taking all the things that I've done for scenarios over the years and saying, you know what, that doesn't have to be just confined to a scenario. You could pull that out and just mix it into any scenario. This is just a cool thing you can have on the table and have it affect the game.
Yeah.
I love, in Frostgrave, I very much want the city of Frostgrave to almost be a character.
Yes.
You're competing against your opponent, but also the city itself. So.
No, that's great. And is there anything else that is currently taking up your time, or is that pretty much the lot?
So I also work with Blaster, with the Blaster group, so a bunch of my Wargamer design buddies, and we've done 3 issues, and the next issue, issue 4, I've written a. I almost call it a mini war game. So it's
so it's
a
a
mini
whole new
miniature
game.
It is, but it's
Right.
quite small. It's called Death Ship 1, and basically you take a squad of soldiers from any point in time and dump them on an alien death ship, and you basically see if you can survive 5 rooms. So the whole game is always 5 rooms, and you're not really expected to win, but if you play it right, you might just get somebody to the end. But the fun there was that, you can take a squad of Romans, or you can take a squad of U.S. Marines.
Literally anyone.
Yeah, or you can take Space Marines and run them through this, and
that sounds
see which
cool,
one does better.
It's like a monster closet that's just got all this
Exactly.
doom in there. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's kind of like I guess influenced by like Predator, except in reverse. They've just kind of like, all right, dump them on our ship and let's hunt them.
Okay.
Kind of.
So when's the next blaster out? Because we looked at the previous one a while ago, and
I think we're aiming for probably very early next year.
Okay.
So
still sticking to that 1 a year schedule, or
schedule is a big word for
okay.
blaster.
My apologies.
I mean, we had an idea for a schedule when we started, and then we went, you know what? It doesn't matter.
It's done when it's done.
We're gonna put them out when we think they're done and when they look good. So
awesome.
we've taken that as the approach now.
Nice. And have you actually had a chance to play some games now? Because you've been locked away. Have you gotten out there and been playing people?
Very little bit. I just started to bust out. I actually last month made a trip to Nottingham to go to Games Workshop with some friends and just hung out in Warhammer World.
Right.
We had to scramble around for what GW game we actually all play that we're allowed to play.
What did you settle on in the end?
So we actually had 2 guys who had Blitz Bowl, which is the kind of Blood Bowl light, but that they only released in America.
Oh wow! Okay, So
but yeah. So,
and they allowed that. That was.
Well,
fun.
they didn't ask any questions anyway. We also did a little Lord of the Rings, so
right.
we could all scrounge up some miniatures for that. So.
Okay, cool.
But
how
beyond
about
that,
your own games, Joe? Have you played any of those?
Played a little bit of Frostgrave, but normally, I've always traveled to play games. That's just kind of how I've always done it, and come to these shows or whatever. And since that hasn't happened, I haven't quite figured out quite how to do it, but I think we're getting back there.
I think
so.
maybe that's why there's this renaissance in solo play games happening at the moment.
I think so.
But no, that's really cool. So when should we expect any of those upcoming expansions? Is it still a bit fluffy?
So the Frostgrave and Stargrave, they're coming next year. I just can't really remember when.
Okay.
So.
We'll find out and add it in a caption or something.
Ask Osprey, they should hopefully know.
Okay,
so.
Fantastic. All right, well, thank you very much for chatting with us, and we'll look forward to hearing more soon.
Good stuff.
Cheers, Joe.
This video has been brought to you by WI Prime, Wargames Illustrated magazine's online members club. View more videos or find out more about WI Prime by following these links.